Manny, would you do me a favor while you got a few minutes there? Check the InfoWars site and see if there are any stories up there about the hate crime legislation, if you please. All right. Let's go back to the phones here. Bill in New York. Hello, Bill.
Hey there.
Hi.
Boy, if you want to discourage a first-time caller, have some guy from Arkansas steal his question out from underneath him. That was amazing.
What? Okay.
I had the same exact thought that this just could be a setup, with all the talk of the North American Union and the World Bank. It just seemed to me that this was just going along a little too smoothly for our side. So that was my question or point.
Well, and,
I also have a comment for the audience. I've been listening for a couple of years to all kinds of different programs. What you're listening to now is the best program on the radio or on the Internet you will hear. You got three real guys passionate about what they do and the truth. If you subscribe to a daily newspaper and you don't get the International Forecaster, shame on you. There's so much truth there. There's more information in there than your daily newspaper is going to give you in a year.
And, Bill, what we try to do with people is to have them stand alone with an amount of discernment that they don't have to read the newspapers anymore. And if they do watch the evening snooze, that they already know what's going on. They can turn the volume down and just watch the happy little faces with their little lying lips moving.
Right. Yeah. I can't even be bothered with the regular news anymore. And Mr. Chapman is the real thing. When he says that if you have a situation and he will call you, he means it. He's called me when I sent him an email question about it. Wow, what do I do with this? The financial situation is insane, and I've got this, and this going on, and my phone rings, and I'm at work, and it's Bob Chapman, and I barely could believe it. But
well, people, Bill, people are shocked when they call the office and they can talk to me, or they email me with a question, or I respond by an email, or I give them a phone call. It's really you. Yeah, well, who do you think I am? I put my pants on the same way you do. I'm not some demigod out there. I'm just like you.
You're really just normal guys. Robbie as well. I mean,
no, he's not normal, but he's acceptable.
I've actually not done business with Robbie yet because every time I get a few... I'm sorry, but every time I get a few bucks together, I'm running down and buying like one coin at a time. I'm sorry.
I hear you.
If I get an appreciable sum together, I'll fly down there and do business with you. But kudos to the three of you. And folks, if you're not a subscriber, go on down the gas station and get the air in your head changed.
There you go. Hey, Bill, thank you for your call. I appreciate that.
Hey, appreciate all three of you guys and what you do.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bill. Patty in Maryland. Hello, Patty.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Listen, I second everything that Bill says. So the love fest is going to continue here. I'm calling because I really sincerely have the utmost respect for the three of you. And I thought if any people can help me wrestle with a question that I have in my mind, you three can help me. I went to the MVA yesterday, and I left with not only my new driver's license, but an armful of Linden LaRouche material.
Oh, Linden.
Yeah. And I get home and I start reading it, and I'm thinking, no, this is good. And he's kind of saying things that I believe in, and facts that I have already heard about. But
I hear a but coming here.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first thing he does is he defames one of my favorite presidents, Andrew Jackson, He basically said Jackson was an agent for Aaron Burr, and Burr, in turn, was an agent for the British. And under that influence, Jackson was convinced he became a vehicle for Wall Street and London interests, and that's why he shut down the Bank of the United States. Do you think that's true?
Bob, you're kind of an historian on the banking stuff.
I don't think it's true.
I don't either.
And I do like LaRoche's work. They get some excellent researches, but I don't believe that. And I've never liked his position on Alexander Hamilton, who, in fact, was a British agent and was a British subject, having been born in Bermuda. And he went. The only reason he was able to defeat the Second National Bank legislation was he vetoed it. And so I think that is untrue.
Okay, good.
And Patty, Lyndon LaRouche used to do a program on Republic Radio International before it was sold off and then became Genesis Communications Network. And Lyndon would always do a tape program. And I was after him repeatedly. I said, you know what? I said, there's positions you've taken, there's serious questions that people have. You need to do a live show. He would never do it. He would never take live calls. And he came out one time, and I really started to question him when one of his favorite presidents was Bill Clinton.
Oh.
and I said, Lyndon, I know you wanted the presidency before, and I know you got to kiss a certain amount of derriere, I guess, to get into those circles. But have you lost your mind? Bill Clinton?
Well, okay, but I think I can top that. Because I go on, I keep reading. I think, okay, you know, I'll get over the Andrew Jackson thing in a little while. But if I will read it very quickly because I want you to hear word for word what he said. And this is coming from a webcast that he did April 11th, 2009. He says, the U.S. government implicitly owns the Federal Reserve System. It is not an independent agency. It's bankrupt. You take and you sort out all the obligations. So the federal government simply has to have one act, the Third National Bank of the United States. And then he goes on and he says you put the Federal Reserve System not only into receivership, but into a form of receivership where the assets of the U.S. government, which owns the Federal Reserve System, are now put into the custody of a national bank. If I were texting the next message, I would text the letters WTF. What is he saying?
Bob?
I don't know what he's saying.
I know what UTF stands for.
Under tough circumstances?
Yeah, you could say that.
What, Sue? No. Patty? Don't know.
He's saying that they're going to form, supposedly he's saying they're going to form another bank.
Well, and I've heard this before. I've heard it from other sources that claim that the old banking system is dead and a new one's coming in. And I asked the very poignant question, well, is it going to be an interest-type scenario? Is it going to be another fiat system, or is this going to be just fee-based banking? Well, I don't really know what it's going to be. And I went, okay, thank you very much. By the way, you got to admire the LaRouches. They're adamant. And they caught up with you and dumped all this stuff in your arms, huh? Yeah. They kind of remind me of the, what was it that Tom Cruise was a member of? Scientology.
Scientology, he still is.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of Scientologists a little bit.
LaRouche is a dispensationalist.
He's a what?
Dispensationalist. He believes in the rapture and.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
Israel. And that's something new. Quite frankly, for my money, during the '60s, he was a Marxist.
Well, that's part of the course.
Well, does that surprise you?
Don't forget, I've been at this a long time. He is brilliant, and he's got some great writers. He's got some great information. It's just that what we were just given, I think, is untrue.
All right.
He follows in the footsteps of Trotsky.
Excuse me?
Could be.
Yeah, he is your quintessential neoconservative.
And my acid test.
Former leftists.
You know, my acid test was simply, you got to do this stuff live. People have questions they need to ask of you. And when he begged off of that situation, I went, okay, mark you down in the book. Patty, appreciate your call.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Gary in Connecticut. Hello, Gary.